Welcome to Live Daf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem, welcome back to today's Daf Yomi, which is Yevamos Kuf Zayin. We begin a brand new perek, which discusses primarily the halacha of miyun. So as we know, an Isha, once she is a gedola, she can become miskadesh, she can get engaged and married on her own. However, a ketana cannot do that on her own. So if her father is around, and he will be mekabel kedushin, he will marry her off, then that works. Minat Torah, that's considered a kedushin a nisuin. As bitina sati lishazeh, as the pasuk says, a man can marry off his daughter. In that case, the kedushin is valid minat Torah. Upon termination of that marriage, a get is required. Upon his death, yibum kicks in. Suppose there is no father around. Chachamim will masakin that even in that case, a ketana can be wed. Her mother, her brother, etc., get her into marriage. The point was to keep her life orderly and structured, to avoid any hefker type of behavior. Now this marriage is only midrabanan, and as such, mi'un can terminate that relationship. All she does is rejects him, walks away. I'm not interested in this fellow. That does to end that marriage. Says the Mishnah, Beishami Omer, we're going to have 5 machlekes between Beishami and Beis regarding the details, various aspects of mi'un. So literally mi'un means to reject. She's unwilling to stay married with him. How does this come about? This Ketana was engaged by way of Kiddushin, then she can reject it through mi'un. Not only an arusa, even a nesua, once she's married to him, she turns around, rejects him, it's over. That's number 1. Second machlekes, she can do mi'un at her husband, but not the yavam. Once the husband passes away, she can't turn around to the yavam and say, look, I'm not interested in this whole thing. It doesn't work. Just as she could do mi'un to her husband, the same with the yavam, and undo the zika, as we're going to see in the Gemara. Number 3, befonov, mi'un only takes place in presence, in the presence of the husband. It's more difficult to face him directly and be in mind, and actually Beis Shammai trying to minimize mi'un. As the Ramban explains, they don't want too many mi'uns taking place. So we try to minimize it, try to make it a bit more difficult, a bit more formal and serious, only in his presence, only directed at him, then it works. No, befanav, whether it's in his presence or when he's not around, she can just say, look, I'm not interested in my husband, I'll walk away. Number 4, you need to have 3 dayanim, a proper bezdin. You don't necessarily need dayanim experts. As long as you have 3 people there, that's okay. Here comes machlekes number 5. Beis Hillel turned to Beis Shammai. Mima enes vehi ketana. A ketana can do mi'un afilu dalad veipam, even if she does it repeatedly, once and again and again. She marries, she does mi'un, marries, does mi'un. It's okay. Amar lehem Beis Shammai. Beis Shammai disagree. Ein b'nai Yisrael hefker. You're treating b'nai Yisrael like hefker? No. Once and that's it. Ella mima enes. She does mi'un once, tennis, and she waits until she grows up and chooses her life path. Tennis, that should tagdal until she grows up, but timon tinase, and then gets married again. So we have 5 machlekes between Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel pertaining to mi'un. According to Beis Shammai, only in arusa, not nesua. According to Beis Shammai, only befanav. According to Beis Shammai, only bebal, not the yavam. According to Beis Shammai, you need a bezdin mumchin. According to Beis Shammai, only once and no more. Amar Vidamar Shmuel, my time at Beis Shammai. Indeed, why do Beis Shammai say that you cannot do miyun once you're married? Only an arusa can do it, but not a nesua. Lefisha ein t'nai b'nesuin. The halacha is that although a person can stipulate a condition when it comes to kiddushin, I'm being mekalish you on this condition, but not when it comes to nesuin, because once they get to the nesuin, the bia, the chibas bia, that closeness nullifies any type of condition, and that being the halacha, we're afraid that it can lead to confusion. If you allow a nesur to do miyun, people might confuse the two and say, oh, 1 second, she's married and she's walking off. People might say, yesh t'nai bin nesuin, she's walking away because there was an unfulfilled condition. They'll attribute her walking away to that, not realizing that it was actually based on a miyun, and it can lead to mistake. People will think that a nesur can have a t'nai as well, and that's of course a mistake. And that's why Beis Shammai say, even when it comes to miyun, don't apply it to an nesur. Asks the Gemara, that explains when she's married, why we don't allow the miyun. Let's say she was only experiencing the chuppah, but they didn't really interact physically. Michael and Mimar, in that case, there's no concern, because the whole point of ein t'nai ben nesuin is because the chiba, spia, the closeness of the bia, nullifies the t'nai, does away with the t'nai, but not chuppah on its own. So why can't you have miyun when the isha had a chuppah? Right? Beis Shammai say only an arusa. Sounds like even chuppah would not allow miyun any longer. Why? You can make t'nai by chuppah, so there's no confusion here. Levisha ain't t'nai by chuppah. Responds the Gemara, you're right. Once you have experienced chuppah, it's also, there's a chiba there. It's in preparation for the physical closeness. So there's a special chiba generated through the chuppah, and any t'nai which perhaps was stipulated beforehand becomes batal. And as such, Beis Shammai say, don't do miyun once you have undergone chuppah, because it can lead to people thinking that there was a t'nai, which of course doesn't work. Asks the Gemara, Masar Av l'shluchei abal ma'ikil meimar. Suppose father, or in this case is no father by the Tana, let's say a relative, gave her over l'shluchei abal to the emissaries of the husband to take her home and marry. Why can't you have miyun at that point? In the Mishnah, it sounds like Beis Shammai are limiting miyun only to the arusa, but once you're out of the realm of arusa, you're already on the way to marriage, it also doesn't work. Why are you afraid that people might say, well, there was a t'nai which was unfulfilled? And as we learned, an unfulfilled t'nai doesn't matter. It's a non-factor once you got to the point of chuppah or marriage. But this is not yet chuppah. This is only on the way to chuppah. A t'nai can certainly can still be valid at that point. So why can't you allow miyun at that point? Like Rabban did not differentiate. They made it clear-cut and uniform. An arusa can have miyun, but once you're out of the arusa realm, whether you're actually married or chuppah or on the way to the chuppah, it's too close to the it relates to the marriage, and therefore we don't want to create confusion. We don't allow miyun on account of this misconception that perhaps t'nai can be applied to marriage as well. So that's why, according to Beis Shammai, miyun only pertains to an arusa and nobody else. Ubeis Hillel, they respond by negating this concern. Meida Yadi, everybody understands the difference. The Nesur Ktana de Rabbanan Ninu. They know that Ktana is only married to Rabbanan, and therefore she's just walking away. Nobody will attribute this rejection to unfulfilled t'nai, and there's no reason for confusion. So again, according to Beis Shammai, only an arusa can have miyun. Why not Nesur? Because of the halacha ein t'nai ben Nesur. Rabbi Yehuda, they give a different reason. Time of the Beis Shammai, you know why according to Beis Shammai we don't allow miyun by a nesua? Nobody wants to get involved with snus, and he's married to her. Suddenly, 5 years down the road, she walks away. He feels like this whole experience was just a snus. It wasn't within the realm of marriage. Nobody's unwilling to do that. And nobody's going to want to get involved with a ketana if she can just walk away on him in the middle of that marriage. That's why we limit miyun to erusin, but once she's married, that's it. Asks Gemara the same question as before, but why only in arusa? What about nichnasa l'chuppah v'lo nivala? Let's say they had chuppah, but no more than that. Michael and Meimar, why don't you allow miyun there? There's no issue of appearing like a znus. That hadn't yet happened. Still, lo nicha te havi chuppah di yisura. He doesn't want it to appear like he was involved with a chuppah with an isha that wasn't really his wife. If you allow it to walk away after the chuppah, it appears like the whole thing was really unsubstantiated. It was just a strange woman that he was involved with, which is not really to his good reputation. Ask the Gemara, okay, I understand marriage, I understand chuppah, but what about Masar Av l'shluchei abal? Let's say she was just handed over to his shluchim. It's still pre-chuppah. There's no concern of znus, no concern of chuppah di isura Michael and Meimar. What's the concern there? Why can't you allow me in at that point? Again, the answer is like polag rabbanan. Rabbanan don't differentiate. It's too close to chuppah. It relates. Just stick to arusa and that's it. That's Beis Shammai's concern. Beis Hillel respond, there's no concern of it appearing like znus. It's so different. Kivan the Ika Kedushin v'Ksuba. Look, they were formerly married, there was a Kedushin, there was a Ksuba. Nobody will purport to be Losei Bilas Nus, that's considered Znus. Therefore, there's no connection, there's no concern, there's no bad reputation, and don't worry about it. You can have Miyun even after Nasun. Papa Amar, I'll give you a third reason. We have a total of 4 reasons coming up in the Gemara. So this was 1, 2, here comes number 3. Time of the Beis Shammai, the reason why Beis Shammai don't allow a Nesua to perform miyun mishum peri. We're concerned about fruit that a husband is entitled to eat off his wife's property. We're going to see in a minute. Time of the Beis Hillel mishum peri. Beis Hillel's reasoning is also based on fruit. Explains the Gemara. Time of the Beis Shammai mishum peri. Beis Shammai don't allow miyun by a nesua. We're concerned about him taking advantage of her property. The amrus nesua timain. You allow a nesua to do miyun, he'll chaparain, tshamet va'achalu mina. He'll quickly grab those fruit, abuse her property, not look after it, not tend to her orchard properly. This safe lemei bakaima, because ultimately she might just walk away from him. She's quickly going to get his money's worth without necessarily caring for her property. That's why we don't allow miyun of a nesua. This way he's secure, he's comfortable, and he'll be responsible with her assets. Beis Hillel used the same rationale, but flip it around. Adrab, just the opposite. Kivan de amras timain. If you allow her to walk away after marriage, hashpuchi mashpachlu. If anything, the opposite. He will tend to her property. He'll improve on it. He'll invest into it. Why? Savar, he's thinking, the Eloi, because otherwise if I abuse her property, look, her relatives will give her a good piece of advice. They'll recommend that she walks away from him. And I'll take it, I'll cause her to leave him. So if anything, this factor works to her benefit. Allow him. Allow her to do miyun, even after marriage. This way, it gives him an incentive to behave responsibly. Rava gives a reason number 4 for Beis Shammai. Why don't we allow miyun by nesun hainatam de Beis Shammai? This is the reason. Nobody wants to invest in marriage and lose his investment. He books the hall, a band, the caterer, a huge investment, and suddenly the next morning she's off. So nobody will want to get involved with a ketana. That's why we say no miyun by nesua. Beis Hillel respond by saying taravayu nichalu. Sure, there's a chance she might walk off, but still, it's a good investment. Both husband and wife are satisfied with even a short-lived relationship. Kedei de lipoik alayu kala the issues. This way, people will hear it. They're married. They're on the map. It gives them prominence and chashivas. So he's willing to take a chance, even if it's a short-lived experience. So bottom line is, Beis Shammai say, miyun only for narusa, not a nesua. Why? We have 4 reasons. We're concerned that it might be confused with tanai. We're concerned that a person might not want to get involved with something that appears like znus. We're concerned that he might take advantage of her properties, or we're concerned that a person might not want to be willing to invest in a short-lived relationship. Okay, machlekes number 2 in the Mishnah was regarding miyun to a yavam. So Reuven married Rachel Ektana. She could turn around and reject him. Reuven passed away, and Shimon is the yavam. Can she do the same to Shimon? Look, I'm uninterested in you and the entire arrangement. Let me go back home. Beis Shammai say no. Beis Hillel say yes. Now, in Beis Hillel, we have a machlekes amoraim. To what extent can she say, I'm being memayin in the yavam? Amar Vaishya. Rabbi Yehuda says, Mema'enes l'ma'amorei. If Shimon the yavam did ma'amar, that's the kedushin that a person can do with the yavam, it's kind of a derabanan. She can reject that. Something that you did with me, I reject. But ve'ena mema'enes l'zikasa. She can't turn around and undo and uproot the entire zika, which has nothing to do with Shimon, who she's rejecting. That's coming from Reuven, her former husband. She can't undo that. She still needs chalitza. Amar Rav Chizda, my time with Rabbi Yehuda. Why? Why do we differentiate? The answer is Mamar demidata. Mamar, which was done with her consent. Shimon offered her kedushin, which she accepted. That's something which she was involved with. She can undo that. Matzya akra, she can uproot that. However, zika, the entire zika of Yibum, the Baal Karcha, which is not really something that she initiated. It's Baal Karcha. It's coming as a result of her marriage with Reuven. So being bound to Yibum on account of Reuven has nothing to do with her. Loi Motzia Akra. She can't just undo that. You can undo what you did. You can't undo something which doesn't pertain to you, which is generated by something from the outside. Asks the Gemara, really? Is that the formula that you must follow? Very bia, the Baal Karcha. Shimon actually does bia with Rachel. He does Yibum. It's Baal Karcha, as we know from the Gemara, the Mishnah back in Daf Dalet. Yevamos Yaveleh Baal Karcha. Umotzia Akra, and still she can undo that. She can turn around after Yibum and say, look, I'm not interested in you. Right? They still say you can do miyun in the yavam. So even after Yibum, she can turn around and reject him, even though it's not something that she initiated. That can't be the reason. That can't be the defining criterion. Ella, rather, Rabbi Isha's rationale was based on the following svara. Bi'a'u ma'amar dehuka avid. The mamar that Shimon does with Rachel, or the bi'ah that he does, it's something that he offered. Matzya akra. By her turning around and saying, look, I'm uninterested in you, she can undo that. It's something that pertains to him and her. As opposed to Zika. Where does that come from? The Rahmana Ramallah. That's coming from Hashem, from the Torah. Her being bound to the Yavam is unrelated to what he did or she did. It's coming from her former marriage. Loi Motzia Akra, that she can't undo. Right? She turned around to Shimon and said, look, I don't want you. I don't want you. You and things that relate to you. But Zika is unrelated to you. It's an extension of a former marriage. And that she can't just undo right now. Ula disagrees. Ula Amar, when Beis Hillel say you can do miyun with the Yavam, it means all the way. Mima'enes afla zikasa, she can uproot the Zika as well and goes home without chalitza. So Rachel was married to Reuven. Reuven passed away. She's facing Shimon the Yavam. I'm uninterested. Uninterested. She goes back home. My time, how does this work? Very simple. By rejecting Shimon the Yavam, she's in effect saying to him, look, I am disinterested in the entire story. Not you, and not Reuven. The whole marriage becomes nullified retroactively. In which case, there's no Yibum. There's no cause for Yibum. So Rava asks Ula, really? A Yevama could just undo everything if she is a Ktana and walks away from him? Let's take a look at the Mishnah way back on Daf Beis Amud Beis. Back to Tzoras Erva. So Reuven passed away, leaving behind Rachel and Leah. Rachel was actually a Ktana. Leah was a G'dayla. They weren't sisters. They were just tzaros, contemporaries, right? Now Rachel was an erva to the Yavam, to Shimon. She was his daughter. So in concept, just as Rachel, who's an erva to Shimon, cannot have Yibum, Leah, who's a tzaras erva, is also pata from Yibum. But if Rachel was merely a ketana, her entire association with Ruvain, the first husband, was only midrabanan. So then we cannot treat Leah as a tzaras erva and absolve her altogether. If Rachel was a ketana who could theoretically do miyan, but she happened not to do yibum during Reuben's lifetime, being that it's only a nesun midrabanan, so Rasa chayletzes, let me say so Leah does chalitza, not yibum. We treat her as a semi-tzaras erva. V'amai, what's the problem? Rachel is still a ketana. Let her do miyan right now, according to you, Ula, who tells us that according to Beis Hillel, a Yevama can walk away and undo and uproot the entire Zika. V'amai, so what's the problem? Timayin hashta. Let Rachel do miyan right now. By doing so, she's uprooting everything. Everything. V'tagkrinu l'nesui kamoi. Let her uproot even the first marriage with Reuven. So it's as though she was never part of that household. V'tis yavim tzarasa. Now the tzara can have yibum. Because Rachel was never part of the equation. Retroactively, she was never part of the system. Answers the Gemara. You're right. Minat Torah, that's a good option. But it appears, tzaras erva shani, it appears like a tzaras erva. It's different because once they fell together as one, Rachel and Leah were Yevamos in the same configuration, in the same household, it appears like Leah was a tzaras erva. And people might confuse matters. Look, hey, Leah is going through Yibum, a tzaras erva has Yibum, and it creates mistakes. So technically you're right, but we're concerned about the observer misapplying and misunderstanding what happened. As we find in the following halacha, that we're concerned about appearances. Etani Rami Bar Yecheskel. Miana Bebal. So we have a case, a non-Yivum situation. Reuven was the father, Shimon was the son, who was married to Rachel Ktana. Miana Bebal. She walks away from Shimon, Muteris Lavim. She can now marry the father Reuven because she's not a daughter-in-law. She was never married to a son. Through Mian, everything was uprooted. However, B'Yavam, suppose Shimon the son passed away with no children, and now the brother Levi is the Yavam, and she turns around to Levi and says, I'm not interested in you. That's too late to go back to Reuven. Asur le'aviv, she can't go back to the father Reuven. You know why? Alma, apparently, Bishas Nefila. At the point of Nefila, when Shimon the son passed away without children, his wife appeared like a Yevama. The fact that she was bound to Levi as a Yevama, it looks, nearest Kikalasa, it looks like it was a marriage. The fact is, Shimon's marriage with Rachel sent her to Levi for Yibum. It looks like a proper marriage that took place. So now, Reuven, the father, shouldn't get involved with her. It looks like, nearest Kikalasa, it looks like she was really his daughter-in-law. Hachanami, so back to our case with the Rachel and Leah, the Tzaras Erva, even though technically, Rachel as a Ketana could just walk away and undo everything L'mafreya, in which case she's out of the picture, and Leah is just a regular Yevama, ready for Yibam. No, it looks bad. The Chanami b'shas Nefila, at the point of Nefila, when husband passes away and leaves behind Rachel and Leah as Tzaras, nearest Ketzaras Pita, it looks like Leah, in fact, the Tzara of Rachel, who is the daughter of Shimon. So bottom line is, just recap, can a Ketana do miyun in a Yevama? Beis Shammai say no. Beis Hillel say yes. To what extent? Rabbi Yehuda says a very limited miyun can happen, only if it's directed at something that he did, like a mamar. So if the Yavam did mamar, she can undo that, but she's still a Yavama. She still needs chalitza. She doesn't undo the entire first marriage, which is the reason for the Yibum. Ulo takes it a step further. No. By doing Yibum against the Yavam, she's in effect undoing the entire arrangement. She was never married to Reuven and never Yevama to Shimon, and she just goes home. However, when it comes to Tzaras Erva, as long as it appears like they fell together, it creates a concern. Now, in line with Ula's shita, that miyun to the Yavam will undo everything, we're going to have three shitas now. Rav, Shmuel, and Rav Asi. You see, way back when we discussed that midrabanan, not only does Bia acquire the Yevama or Chalitza, disengage, but even something which appears like Bia, like Maimar, has a similar effect as Bia. And likewise, get given to a Yevama has a similar effect to Chalitza because it appears like a disengagement very similar to Chalitza. So we say it's like Lo Yivne, it's as though he rejected the Yevama and he can no longer do Yibum. What about Mi'un? Do we treat it as a get or not? Oh, the answer is going to be yes. The fact is, Mi'un is also a form of disengagement. And just as when a Yavam issues a get to the Yevama, Midrabanan, we treat it somewhat like Chalitza, in which case he can no longer do Yibum. The same happens by a get. Now, let's say there are a few brothers, Yavams, and one does a get. The halacha is she becomes usher to everybody because the household, the Yavama coming from that household became rejected. She sort of disengaged by way of this get, which makes her usher to all brothers. Right? It affects them all equally. What about a miyun? Does it have that same broad effect? It makes her usher to all brothers, or perhaps only to the fellow who did the miyun? To the fellow to which she did the miyun, I should say. Amarav, miyun abazeh. Let's say the Yevama did miyun against one brother. Asur lazeh, just as she can't follow through with a yibum to him any longer because we treat it like a get. Likewise, she can no longer proceed to yibum with the other brothers as well. The entire household is affected. Why? Midi dahava balasket. We treat it like a balasket. Balas haget, just like over there by the balas haget. Lav kivon de itzro lalachat. Don't we say it just like she becomes answer to the fellow who issued the get? It has a comprehensive effect. Itzro lalakulu. She can no longer approach the other brothers for yibum as well. Hachanamir as well. By miyun leishna, we don't differentiate. Ushmul amar no. Miyana bezeh muteres lazeh. Just because she did miyun to one brother, she can still do yibum with the other. You can't compare it to a get. Big difference. Balas haget. Who the ka'avad ba? How does the get happen? He issues a get to her. So he's rejecting her from the family. You are not going for yibum. So over there we say it has an all-encompassing effect. Yibum is no longer an option to all brothers. But over here, by the miyun, it's a very personal experience. Over here, who did the miyun? Not him, she did it. She did it, directed at him. He ka'av the bay. She did the miyun to him. So it's a very personal experience between him and her. The Amra, because as she says by miyun, loy ra yanabach, loy tziv yanabach. I'm not interested in you, I don't want you. Bach, loy ra yana. I'm uninterested in you personally. But your other brothers I'm okay with. So nobody will confuse this with a get. By a get we say, okay, it's a rejection. But over here it's a personal rejection between the Yavam and the Yevama, and therefore there's no room to make a gzera, to consider it like a get. So he shouldn't go back and do Yavam, but the other ones can do. Rav Asi Amar, he has a chiddush. In concept, I agree with you that we treat it like a get. But when we have two brothers who are potential yavams, right? Miyana bazeh. Even if she does miyun to one brother, muteras afiluloi. She can go back and have yibum even with him. Oh, now how do you understand Rav Asi? Why don't we treat it like a get? Lemar karbeisha svirle. One second. Do you think that Rav Asi is following Rabbi Yehuda? Who's Rabbi Yehuda? Number Alf, we have Rabbi Yehuda says that the miyun that a Yevama can do is only if it's directed at a mamar. It can't relate to the actual zika and undo the zika, right? That was Rabbi Yehuda's approach. It appears, perhaps, that Rav Ashi is following that line. Look, he says, she does miyun to Reuven, she can go back and do yibum to Reuven because it doesn't affect her zika whatsoever. Is that so? Lema, Rav Ashi Svirle, Rav Asi and Rav Ashi on the on the same page. The Amar Einam Ma'enes L'Zakasa, you follow Rabbi Yehuda says you can't do Miyun to the Zika, and therefore the Zika is unaffected. Is that so? No. No, not necessarily. B'chad Yavam. Suppose there was only one brother here. So Reuven passed away, no children. Shimon is the sole surviving brother. Of course, if she does Miyun to him, it undoes, it uproots the entire Zika. Like Ula says, right? Hacha. He was speaking b'shnei Yevamos, the two brothers. De'ein Miyun l'chatzi Zika. So she did Miyun to one of the brothers, but not to the other one. Rav Asi says, look, both brothers are generating one Zika. It's not like there's Reuven Zika and Shimon Zika. And therefore, just because she did Miyun to one brother, it doesn't affect the other brother. It doesn't even affect the first brother because she addressed only half the story. She was reminding Reuven's aspect of Zika. And Zika is one big thing. And therefore, unless she does Miyun to both brothers, the Zika is unaffected. And we ignore the entire Miyun. Okay, so bottom line is we had three shittas here. How to treat a Miyun. We know that a get disqualifies the Yevama. What about Miyun? Rab says, sure, Miyun and get are synonymous. Miyun done to one of the brothers affects the entire household. Nobody can follow with a Yibum. Shmuel says Miyun is slightly different than get. Get affects the entire family, but Miyun is very personal, affects him and not the other brothers. Rav Asi tells us a chiddush that when we have two brothers, unless she does Miyun to both, it's either all or nothing. Either to both or it doesn't really have much impact. Continues the Gemara. Ki asa Ravan. When Ravan came from Eretz Yisrael, after having learned by Rabbi Yechanan, Amar Rabbi Yechanan, he quoted Rabbi Yechanan as follows. Rabbi Yechanan says, Miyana bezeh, the Yevama performs Miyun with one of the Yevamin, one of the brothers, Muteris la'achan, she can marry the other brothers. That's Rabbi Yechanan's opinion. V'loi hoidiloi. And Ravan adds that this was his personal opinion, but it was not agreed upon by the other shittas. Others disagreed with Rabbi Yechanan. Okay, so what happened here? Man loi hoidiloi, who are the other shittas who are in disagreement? I'm going to have three ways to explain this. Amar Abaye, it's Rav. You see, Rabbi Yechanan says, even when there was a Miyun, well, the other brothers are unaffected. We don't treat it like the get, which affects everybody. This is not like Rav. Rav says, Miyun and get are synonymous. When there was Miyun done with any brother, there is no Yibam allowed at all in the family. Rava Amar Rabbi Aisha. Rava says that the loy hoidiloi, the ones who disagreed with Rabbi Yechanan, is a reference to Rabbi Aisha. Why? So Rashi explains like this. Rabbi Yechanan tells us there are two brothers. She does Miyun to Reuven, Muteris la'achan, which means she can do Yibum with Reuven or Shimon. Not only to Shimon, even to Reuven. We ignore the Miyun. Why? We have that svara of Ein Miyun l'chatzi Zika, because she only did a Miyun on half the Zika. She should have done Miyun to both brothers. She only did to one. Has no effect. It's one package, it's one bundle. Reuven and Shimon are both taking part in the same Zika, and she didn't do Miyun to both. So the Miyun is ignored. Zika is still intact. And that's why she can do Yibum. But suppose she would have done a proper Miyun, an all-encompassing Miyun, to all the brothers, addressed the entire Zika. She would have uprooted the Zika, and Yibum Chalitza would no longer be needed or an option. Because Miyun can be Eicher the Zika. This is not Al-Karbesha, who tells us on Amar Aleph, you can never be in mind and uproot the Zika. That's the second approach. Va'amrila. The third approach is Rav Asi, who is the dissenting Shita. Again, Rabbi Yechanan says, Yevama does Miyun to Reuven, she can still do Yibum with Shimon. But according to this approach now, a third way of learning Rabbi Yechanan, we understand that Rabbi Yechanan means that she can do Yibum with the brother who did not experience the Miyun, but she cannot do Yibum with the brother with whom she did the Miyun. Why? Because she rejected him, he treated it like a get, etc. Even though, look, there are two brothers who are sharing the same Zika. You can do Miyun to even half a Zika. So again, there are two brothers here, and she does Miyun with Ruvain. She cannot have Yibum with Ruvain because his aspect of the Zika got affected by that Miyun. We treat it like a get, disengaged, disconnected. And this is not like Rav Asi, who tells us whenever you have two brothers sharing the same Zika, you want Miyun to have an effect, you have to do Miyun to both brothers. Otherwise, it's just a half a Zika and worthless. So he was the Choylik on Rabbi Yehuda. Continues the Gemara. Okay, let's proceed to the second machlekes we had in the Mishnah. First one was whether you can do Miyun by a Nesua. Second one was whether you can do Yibum Miyun against the Yavam. And the third machlekes, right? The third one is whether it has to be a formal procedure in his presence, which makes it more serious and a bit more difficult to come by, because perhaps she's ashamed, she's uncomfortable, just rejecting him outright. And actually, Beis Shammai are seeking to minimize Miyun, as Ramban says. We don't want it to happen, just like that. So it's dafka in his presence. Tanya, Amar Lam Beis Hillel, Beis Hillel responded to Beis Shammai. You can't do it shalei b'fanav. Valoi pisha in hagamol, pisha on the camel driver. Miyana yishte shalei b'fanav. Look, his wife walked off from him. Shalei b'fanav. Amar Lam Beis Shammai, Beis Hillel. Beis Shammai respond, that's an exception. Pisha in hagamol. Oh, b'midah kefusha modad. He behaved inappropriately. Rashi says b'midah kefuya modad. He extorted her. He would give her a hard time. He would bankrupt her properties. He wasn't a responsible husband. And therefore, lafichach madaduloi b'midah kefusha. Likewise, they behaved with him accordingly. So although typically Miyun needs to be b'fanav, in this case, the Chachamim allowed it even shalei b'fanav. Now, asks the Gemara, 1 second. He was bankrupting her properties, right? He was picking her fruit. Apparently she was already married to him. Midduka achal peri, the fact that he's eating her fruit, pshita dinasoi. Apparently she's married to him. Marriage? That doesn't allow Miyun. Beis Shammai just told us in the Mishnah, Nesua lemimana. In any case, a Nesua can't have Miyun. How did she just walk away? Answers the Gemara, you're right. Trei kitri. Kitri is lashon of kesher, a double scheme of Dubei. They applied in this case, meaning they applied a double kesher against him. They made a double exception because of his inappropriate behavior. Number one, they allowed a Nesua to do Miyun, which isn't typically allowed. And number two, even shalei b'fanav. And Tosfos says, well, how can you undo a marriage just because he's undeserving of this marriage? You can't just take away Kedushin. She says, because Kedushin Ketana is the Rabbanon, and the Rabbanon will mafkia the Kedushin. And the Mepharshim explain, as per the halacha of Hefker, Bezdin Hefker, they sort of, made his money, the money of the Kedushin, the ring, made it Hefker, and they undid the entire Kedushin. Beis Shammai Amrim, let's move on to the fourth machlokes in the Mishnah. Beis Shammai say, Bifnei Bezdin, Dafka in front of the Bezdin. Tznan Hasam, we have a Mishnah in the previous parak, and also Mishnah in Sanhedrin. Ha-chalitza v'mi'unin b'shleish. Chalitza and miyun take place in front of three people. So that's the Mishnah. Mantana, who's the author of that Mishnah? Whose shita is this? Amar Rabba Beis Shammai. It is Beis Shammai. You require three. Abaya Amar Na. Filotemi Beis Hillel. Even Beis Hillel would agree with that Mishnah. Ad kan loy kamar Beis Hillel. Ela de loy ba'inan mumchen. True, Beis Hillel don't require experts. Avon shleisha ba'inan. But 3 years needed. You see, by chalitza, we know that we need 3 people. We learn it from a pasuk, right? Zakanim, etc. By a get, according to some Rishonim, we also need a bezdin. Right? The question is whether we need mumchen. Do we need experts? Beis Shammai say yes, we need expert dayanim. Just 3 people, that's not enough. So all agree they need 3. Beis Hillel only disagreeing with the mumche aspect. El bloy bin a mumchen, aval shloisha bin, you need 3, because the sani, as we have a brayso, Beis Shammai oimrim b'fnei bezdin. Miyun takes place in front of a bezdin. Beis Hillel oimrim b'fnei bezdin, v'shalei b'fnei bezdin, in the presence of bezdin, or even without the bezdin. But ve'elu moedim all agree shetzarach shloisha, you need 3. Even Beis Hillel agrees 3 is necessary. You don't need a bezdin, mumchen. And according to Beis Shammai, as explained before in the name of the Ramban, we want to make it more difficult. We want to make it more formal and tedious. So we require a full bezdin who are mumchen in order to limit our miyuns. So that's the machlokes, mumchen or no mumchen. But now we have another shita who says, you don't even need bezdin. You have to make sure you know what happened. You have to have Edom, but you don't need a bezdin. It's not a formal procedure. It just walks away from him. That's okay. Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Lezer, Rabbi Shimon, Machshir Mishnah. I mean, if you have just 2 Edom watching, that's okay. Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Menumah, Rabbi Nachman, Aloch Geis Azug, that's how we paskin. You don't need a bezdin. Over to the 5th machlokes in the Mishnah. How many times can a ketana do miyan? Beis Shammai oimrim timayin just once. She's not hefker. That's it. Just married once, miyan once, and that's it. But the Mishnah ends with an interesting lashon. If you take a look at the Mishnah, the last line is Elo mema'enes. We allow once miyan. Umam tenes asher tagdil. Then she grows up. U'temayim tenaseh. Does miyan and then decides to get married properly. Why does she have to do miyan again? She's already passed her miyan. Asks the Gemara, but she already did her miyan once. Why do you have to repeat the miyan? Amar Shmuel, we want to confirm it. True, she did a miyan when she was a ketana, but you know what? Ketana doesn't have the proper, mature mindset. We have to wait until she grows up and she acknowledges that she tagdil v'toymar roitzani b'miyunim harishayim. So according to Shmuel, Beis Shammai are saying, look, she's married, she does miyan. Okay, put it on hold. Put it in the file, wait till she grows up and she confirms that miyan. Until then, no more marriages for her. Ula disagrees. The Mishnah meant as follows. The Mishnah was providing 2 options. Tar tiktani. It's a double option. Either oisha temayin v'tagdil v'teyaris. You see, the point is we want to prevent another miyan from taking place, right? It's a once a lifetime privilege according to Beis Shammai. We don't want a repetitive miyan, which makes it like hefker, right? So either she does miyan, grows up, and then gets engaged. That's one option. Or if she chooses to get married right away, you say according to Beis Shammai, once she's married, she's in. She can't do miyan anymore. That preempts any further miyans. That's okay. So she can do miyan and quickly jump into the next marriage only, which revokes any miyan privileges. This way, you're safe. So the Mishnah meant 2 things. Acha tagdil. Tagdil means she's only seeking to get engaged. That can only happen once she's a gedolah, because we're trying to preempt any further miyans. She'll engage when she's a ketana. She might do miyan again. So engagement only if she's a gedolah. And then the Mishnah concludes, v'teman v'tinase. But if she's trying to get married right away, she can do miyan and get married right away, even when she's a ketana, because then she's done. Bishlema ula hainu duktani acha tagdil v'tinase. According to Ula, we understand the wording of the Mishnah. She grows up and gets engaged, or v'timan v'tinase does miyan followed by an immediate marriage. Right? So either or works. She's looking to get engaged. For that, she has to wait until she's a gedolah, because we're afraid after engagement she might just walk away again. Or if she chooses to get married, she can do miyan and then eventually marry. But marriage preempts any further nisuin, any further miyan. Elo Shmuel, but according to Shmuel, the wording of the Mishnah seems difficult. According to Shmuel, the point is she has to wait until she grows up and acknowledge and confirm that miyun. Until then, there's no further marriages. Mishnah should have said, well, the way the miyun works is she does miyun and she grows up and she repeats it, she confirms it. Kashi, indeed, the wording in the Mishnah seems to be a bit difficult according to Shmuel. So bottom line is like this. Let's just recap the sugya. How does miyun take place? We have Beshama, we have Besila, we have 5 machlekas. Anasua, once she's married, Beshama say no miyun. We have 4 reasons in the Gemara. It appears like a Tanai, concerned about it appearing like Znus, concerned about him taking advantage of her properties, concerned that a person wouldn't want to get involved in a possible short-lived investment. According to Beis Hillel, we're not concerned, as per the reasons the Gemara explained. What about doing miyun once she's a Yevama? Beis Shammai say no, Beis Hillel say yes. According to Rabbi Oishia, she can revoke a ma'amar, but cannot revoke the zika. According to Ula, she can be oiker and uproot the entire zika altogether. What about Shalei B'fana? Beis Shammai say no, Beis Hillel say yeah. What about Shalei B'bezdin, which the Gemara explains to mean you have 3 people, but they're not mumchim. According to Beis Shammai, we want it to be formal. It doesn't work. According to Beis Hillel, it works. What about repeating miyun? Marrying, memayin. Shammai say it's one time and that's it. But still allow repetitive yivams as well. Continues the Mishnah. Who's this ketana that we're speaking about? Who requires miyun? Meaning, we consider the marriage somewhat valid, midrabanan, which requires a miyun for termination. Kol shisi'ua ima v'achiha l'daita. We're speaking that her mother, her brother, married her off with her consent. She knew about it, she was willing. But if she was uninformed, you don't even need miyun, it's null and void. Rabbi Chanina ben Tignus Omer, but she has to be somewhat of age. She's a tinoikas, too young to even care for the money of the kiddushin, meaning she's under 6 years old. Then it's not considered anything. No miyun required. Now, according to the Shittas Chachamim, Tanakama, and all the Chachamim here, the Rabbanon treated this type of marriage with some validity, meaning all the obligations and the privileges pertaining to a husband and wife apply even in this case. She finds something, it goes to the husband. Her earnings go to the husband. She passes away, he's a kohen, he can become tummy to her. She's like a meis mitzvah, she's bound to him. He's bound to her, I should say. Truma, well, Truma d'Rabbanan, she can have his Truma. We treat it like almost like a real marriage. Rabbi Elazar disagrees. Rabbi Elazar Omer, ein ma'aseh ketana klum. Sure, we allow this relationship, but it has no halachic validity. It's nothing. Elakim futa. It's as though he convinced her to be with him. But there's no halachic ramification whatsoever. For instance, Bas Yisrael a kohen. Suppose he's a kohen, she's a Bas Yisrael. She can't share his truma, even if it's truma d'Rabbanan. Likewise, Bas Yisrael, as kohen Yisrael, she comes from a kohen family, married this Yisrael. She continues eating her father's truma, as though she underwent no status change. Rabbi Azim Yaakov Omer, he says, and this will be explained in the Gemara, Kol hakava she'imene ish, kilo ishtoi, kol hakava she'ena mene ish, kilo ene ishtoi. We'll see in the Gemara. Amar Vidav Amar La, some say Masisa Tana, we had us in the Bryce. How do we write this document called a get miyun, which records the miyun procedure? She needs to have a get, a shtar, to prove what happened. How do we write it? What's contained therein? But Rishoina, initially, it was a whole long text. Hayukoisvin, they would write as follows. Hayukoisvin get miyun, I'm uninterested, I have no desire to be with him. Totally uninterested in this marriage. But once they saw that it's going to create confusion, the nafesh dibur, all these extra words, might create a problem. You know why? Amri, they figured that the Sefer perhaps is an unlearned fellow. He might say, oh, this is a get. look, this is a whole long document, and next time a truly married couple comes to him for a get, he'll just copy over this text from the get miyun, which of course doesn't work for a regular get isha, totally different context. He'll use that as the get. And therefore they decided to shorten the get miyun to set it apart from the standard get. Tkinu hachi, they decided to write as follows. A short version with just a few words. B'yayin ploni, on this and this day, miyana plonis bas ploni. So this isha bas ploni performed miyun ba'an panam, in our presence, and that was it. Okay, let's recap the sugya. We discussed the halacha of miyun. So Oktana, who was married off by her family. So in absence of a father getting involved, there's no Kedushin min ha-Torah. It's a Kedushin min the Rabbanan. In order to keep her structured and safe, physically and spiritually. But being that it's only Kedushin min the Rabbanan, she can turn around and refuse and reject the marriage. And that is miyun. We have 5 machlekes in the Mishnah. Between the Shama and Beis Hillel. Can a Nesua do yibum? Do miyun? What about doing miyun in the yavam? What about shaloi b'fanav? What about without a bezdin mumchen? What about doing it repeatedly? Beis Shammai say no to all these questions, and Beis Hillel say yes. We had 4 reasons why Beis Shammai don't allow miyun by the nesua. Now, when Beis Hillel say you can do it in the yavam, to what extent? According to Rabbi Oisha, it's only to take away the mamar, which was done by the yavam, but it can't undo the zika entirely. According to Ula, it can undo the zika entirely. Now, what happens according to Ula when you undo the zika? So you have Rav, Shmuel, and Ravas. Rav says we treat it like a get, and the entire family cannot do yibum anymore. Shmuel says he cannot do yibum; it's like his personal get, but the other brothers can. Rasi says if she only did miyun to 1 or 2 brothers, that's worthless because it's miyun l'chatzi zika. What about shaloi b'fanav? Beis Shammai say no, but we have an exception with Pisha and Hagamal, who was undeserving of any better treatment. Therefore, even shaloi b'fanav, even though she was in a surah, the Chachamim allowed the miyun to take place. So Beis Shammai say we do a miyun once and that's it. So what happens now? According to Shmuel, she grows up and confirms the miyun. Until then, she doesn't get married. Ula says, well, we don't want a miyun to happen again. So she has one of 2 options. Either she's assigned to get engaged only, she has to wait until she's grown up. But if she's actually going to get married, that can happen right away, because then it locks her in. According to Beis Shammai, you can't do miyun at that point, and that's okay, and that keeps her safe. A miyun is only required if it's a ketana, and the kedushin was done l'dat. She has to be of age, according to Reb Chanina. She has to be at least 6 years old, where she can actually look after the money given to her, the kedushin money. What about the ordinary obligations and privileges which take place in a marriage? According to Tanakama, it applies to this Tana as well. According to Blazer, absolutely not. And we concluded that the get miyun should be of a short version. This way, nobody will think it's a get for gerushin. Hatzlacha Rabatu and Besuras Tevis.